Hi, so I just did a video before this around Madeline and Jen Soto. This is going on in Florida. And a lot of people who've watched this have been wondering what was the motive to getting rid of Madeline, this 13-year-old girl. It just didn't make sense to a lot of people, especially since Stefan, the grown man, 40-some-year-old guy, was making this girl that was 13 and younger his girlfriend and doing things that adult people do with their boyfriend-girlfriend type stuff. Well, there was a clue in the court when Madeline's biological father got up and said, I had a talk with Madeline the last time I saw her. I've been getting my finances together, and I asked her, who would you like to live with? And when you're 13, you can make that decision. And Madeline said, Dad, I want to come live with you. So this happened on her 13th birthday, or like right after her 13th birthday. And you know teenagers. I remember me as a teenager. I had no filter. None whatsoever. I mean, I remember growing up and telling my mom certain things and she'd be mortified and horror. I mean, it was just like, I can't believe that came out of my mouth. You know, we just don't have a filter as teenagers. Now, can you imagine? You have a mom who's abusive. You have this guy who thinks you're his girlfriend. And you now have an opportunity to go live with your dad. You're going to take it. So I've already discussed why Jen, her mother, would have wanted her not to leave. I'm going to talk about why Stefan wouldn't want her to leave and why he made that comment, why he went no contest against unaliving Madeline, and why he made the comment he made that everyone was just grossed out and sickened by. So, Stefan probably did not want Madeline to leave him because that's his girlfriend. He sees her as his girlfriend. He sees himself at her age. He sees himself growing up with her. I know that sounds really sick and really weird, but some people do. They just do. Their brains are just warped in that aspect. They can't see themselves as an adult. They can look in the mirror constantly, but there's something that happens in a fracturing or something where they just can't see themselves growing up. They can't do it. They're stuck at certain ages. And there can be various reasons for that. But he seems stuck at a young age. So even though he's stuck at that age, he's still responsible. I'm not saying that. He's responsible for getting help. He is an adult. And his parents talked about him refusing to get help. So he still has a choice in this matter because he's still an adult. However, his brain is saying, I'm her age. Again, doesn't make it right. That's how he's viewing it, because you can tell by the way he talks, the way he approaches things. He's very much really not on the level of someone that would be that age. So he's seeing Madeline as girlfriend. So Madeline, this 13-year-old girl, is going to leave him. Either Jen and him freaked out because they didn't want, I explained why Jen wouldn't want her to leave, but Stefan wouldn't want his girlfriend to leave. He wouldn't want his girlfriend to leave, his young girlfriend. I'm telling you this from a sick point of view, so please do not think that I'm okay with this. And so if he did either unalive her or help unalive her, he may not remember it because it would have been so quick, so much in a heat of passion, you would say, or rage, or however you say that he probably wouldn't remember it, or he would have been a part of it at the end and helped Jen because he saw how upset Jen was, or he did it. I mean, there's so many options, but I really want you to hear this. He probably can't admit to himself that he did it because of how he sees her, or because Jen did it. or because he participated towards the end. So, and that's why he could admit to, I did these horrific things with her, treating her like my girlfriend. I can admit to that because I see her as my girlfriend and I don't see anything wrong with it. Again, not logical, but I can't admit to unaliving her because there's something in his brain that says he didn't participate in that. So now that we've gotten that out, we're going to talk about what he said. A lot of people were horrified by what he said. He's talking about, yes, we're all going to miss Maddie. I loved Maddie. Maddie brought joy into my life. Maddie was absolutely wonderful. She was great. And everybody's looking at him going, you're accused of unaliving her. You know that, right? You're accused of harming her. Don't you know that? And he talked about her like everybody else had talked about the loss. Like he lost her too. Again, there's a disconnect. But I really want to make this clear. The reason I keep saying girlfriend, 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 that's how he saw her. So to him, it was a loss of his girlfriend. Again, this doesn't make any sense. It's very sick, but that's how his brain was processing it. I just lost my girlfriend. I loved her. She was my girlfriend. That's why he talked the way he talked when he was making his statement. It wasn't to get even with the family. It wasn't to be cruel to the family. I've seen people who do that. It wasn't vindictive. He was legitimately sad that he lost his girlfriend. That's what was going on. By the words he spoke, by his reaction, you could tell it was just like, I lost two guys. I feel bad too, guys. I lost two. Don't you understand? I lost her too. And so when people were like, I am so sickened by this, yes, we should be sickened by this. We should also know that he has some sort of condition for him to think this and say this. Because no grown man should ever have a child bride, a child girlfriend. Someone under the age of 30, even someone under the age of 16. It's not okay. It's just not okay. I mean, I even struggle sometimes with people who are like in their 70s and they marry a 19-year-old or 20-year-old girl. They're not ready for that. And I'd have a problem too if a 7-year-old woman married a 20-year-old guy. But that's what I wanted to go into. Because I think when we understand that, it really makes things more clear of what's going on. And that doesn't mean you can't say it's still wrong. It's still wrong. But we start to understand how disconnections and fracturing and all those kinds of things play this weird factor into what's going on. So on that note, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.